On June 23rd, 2026, Ghana Black Stars will trash the English Three Lions at the Toronto Stadium in the FIFA World Cup. That's going to be our second group game, and I'm confidently saying that Ghana would win against the English national team because they've been darking us for years. So the Ghanaian and the English national team have played against each other only once in 2011. It was on March 29th. And in that game, the English thought they were going to win that game. So they were in the stadium in their numbers. It was at Wembley Stadium. Over 80,000 people showed up for a friendly match, just a friendly match. And the English scored the first goal in the 43rd minute and the Carroll. And they thought that they were going to win that game because by 90th minute, the English national team was leading Ghana by 1 goal. And in the 91st minute, Asamoah Gyan, Baby Jet, hit them with a Fergie time and equalized that game. Since then, the English have been avoiding us, and now FIFA have served us or have served them to us on a silver platter. In the Group L second game, Ghana takes on the English national team, and I'm confidently saying that we go score them bassa. Make them see the man that they grind pepper for inside. We go show them how they grind pepper. Yeah, we go treat them bassa. Declan Rice. Ghanaians, our favorite food to eat is what? Rice. We go eat them, Pause. Anyway, I know that's the game everybody will be talking about. That game is a much anticipated game. It's the game the world has been waiting for decades. And so I want to move on to talk about another game, Ghana versus Panama. Before I do that, my name is Enebi Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer who lives in the US. On this channel, I talk about geopolitics from the perspective of an African. So if you like geopolitics, subscribe to this channel. But since I talk geopolitics and this is the World Cup, I'm going to talk about Ghana's relationship with Panama. We do not have one. Ghana do not have a bilateral relationship with Panama. What that means is that Panama do not have their embassy in Ghana. Ghana do not have our embassy in Panama. We do not hate each other. We just they do one at thing. We make them to they do them at 10. We just they do one at 10. But Ghana's first World Cup game on June 17th, 2025 would be against the Panamanian national team, and it will be at the Dallas Stadium. The AT&T Stadium is the name of the stadium, but for the FIFA World Cup, it will be called the Dallas Stadium. I live in DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. So Dallas Fort Worth is a metropolis. It's a combination of the two big cities, Dallas, Fort Worth, and a few other small towns. So it's really, really big, right? And so I most likely will go to that stadium. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm excited a game will be in Dallas, which means that there's a huge African population here in Dallas, right? The last time an African team played in Dallas was in the 1994 World Cup when Nigeria played, I believe it was, Nigeria played against Bolivia. And did Nigeria play against England in that World Cup? I don't remember. But what I remember is when I read reports about that game years later, right? Decades later, I actually read it last year. What I noticed was that they said Nigerians turned Dallas to little Lagos. Ghana is going to turn Dallas to little Accra. We are going to bring Dirty December to Dallas and show the Panamanians how we party. I have a lot of friends from Panama. Panama is have a huge party culture. They like to have fun. Panamanian culture and Ghanaian culture have a lot of similarities, even though politically we do not have any relationship. Culturally, we have a lot of similarities. But when it comes to who parties better, Panama or Ghana, I would say Ghana. You know how in the 2010 World Cup and the 2006 World Cup, in the 2014 World Cup, Ghana was famous for how our players will be drumming and dancing during the World Cup. Yeah, the Panamanian national team is also famous for how they party before their games, but they do not have a footballing team that matches their party energy. England scored Panama 6-1 in the 2018 World Cup, and that was their first ever goal in the World Cup. So, even against Panama, England, So, talk more of Ghana, one of the greatest soccer nations in the world. Anyway, but I want to tell you something about Ghana's relationship with Panama politically. This year, on October 21st, 2025, yeah, a few weeks ago, Ghana Navy arrested a ship in the coast of Ghana, and that ship was flying the flag of Panama. Does it mean that sailors from Panama came to Ghana and committed a crime? No. Panama is what you call a flag of convenience. Panama allows ships from all over the world to fly their flag on their ships. What does this mean? You know, every ship that flies on international waters is supposed to have the flag of their country of origin. But some countries of origin have some laws on shipping that makes it hard for ships from that country to fly their flags. So Panama has a flag of registry that is easy for any ship from anywhere in the world to come there and register. So ships from China, Greece, whichever country are flown flying the flag of Panama. So Ghana's relationship with Panama, the extent of our relationship is based on the flag, the fact that they are flag. And actually, the ship that was arrested by the Ghana Navy, 11 people were arrested on that ship. They were trying to stow away. And all 11 people were Nigerians. So I believe that the ship was riding from Nigeria to some other country, and then 11 people were arrested and given to the Ghana Immigration Service on that ship. And that ship was flying the flag of Panama. But I'll give you a history of why Panama started allowing other countries to fly their flag. Panama is the first country in the world to allow ships that are not from Panama to fly their flag. They started this because in the 1916s to the 1925, in the 1910s, the United States had a culture where they thought alcohol was a sin. Christians in America were against drinking alcohol. So they had some things they called the prohibition laws that banned alcohol. And one of the prohibition laws was that ships which were flying US flag should not have alcohol on them. So they should not trade alcohol. So if you were importing alcohol to a different country or exporting alcohol, wherever it was, you could not have the US flag on your ship. So do you think that Americans are going to stop importing alcohol? No. They found a way around the law. So American shippers started looking for a place to register their ship at so that their ship will fly the flag of that country and so that they can keep having alcohol on their ship. So Panama created what they call the flag of registry. So American shippers started going to Panama to register their ships so that they can trade in alcohol. Yeah. So basically, the country of Panama having 14% of all ships in the world registered there is because they just wanted Americans to party and drink alcohol. So basically, that is it. And so these days, Christians in America have moved on from alcohol. Now it's LGBT, you know. Now Christians in America are anti-LGBT. For some reason, Christians in America will take one issue, make it their main cultural war issue, and fight against that issue for like 10 to 20 years. And when they finally lose, they move on to something else. They always lose and move on to something else. Because after the alcohol, the next thing that came was prayer in schools. There was a big issue where Americans were fighting whether people should be allowed to pray in school or not. It was a big issue in America. And the Supreme Court ruled again that prayer is something that is personal. The school should not be authorizing people to pray. So individuals can pray, government prayer. So like in Ghana, if you're in Ghana, you see how we go to school in the morning and pray, Our Father who art in heaven. You can't do that in America because it's against the law. So when the Christians in America lost their prayer thing, they move on to LGBT, gay. And then again, they lost that issue. So now is the transgender issue. I don't know how it will play out. For now, President Trump has helped them, so they are winning that issue. Christians in America almost won the abortion issue. When I say almost won, legally they won. But now most states in America are legalizing abortion. So the win on the national level means nothing. That is what I mean by the almost won. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you a context of Panama and Ghana. We do not have officially bilateral relationship. When Ghana wants to deal with Panama, we either deal with them through our embassy in the Washington, D.C. of America or Brazil. So that is the extent of our relationship. But Panama is also a very good soccer country. What else? Yeah. Panama, at our third group game will be against Croatia. Croatia has a history in the World Cup, but this is my prediction. Ghana will win our game against Panama decidedly. We will hand them down. We will trash them. We will win our game against England. We will show them pepper. We will let them know who is the master. 3, Croatia, because the last group game, it will be dicey. Maybe we will draw that one. Ghana will qualify from our group with 7 points. I'm not a betting person, but if you bet, put the money on that. Ghana will win our group with 7 points. England will be second in our group. And I'll end by saying this. Football is not going to come home this year either. This World Cup is not the World Cup that football will come home. England will say football is coming home every single World Cup since 1966 or something like that. And it hasn't come home yet. And this World Cup, it will not come home. If ever football is going to come home, it's going to come to Ghana. Because Ghana is football's new home. Subscribe to my channel if you like the extracurricular things around the World Cup. I do not talk about the games itself. I'm not really a football or sports channel. I am a geopolitics channel, so I'll talk about the politics and issues around the World Cup. I have some videos here about how Ghana was the country that made it possible for African countries to get representation in the World Cup. I'll put it at the end of this video. And yeah, I have an interview with a student of friend of mine who is from Panama. I wouldn't put that. I think, should I put that one also at the end of this video? Yeah. I'll put those 2 videos at the end of this video. So subscribe to my channel and then watch those 2 videos if you're interested in knowing more about the culture of Panama and also the history of the World Cup. I'll talk to you later. This is not my usual studio. I think I'll be here for like a week. So I'll use this setup for like a week.